What's up, lads? Welcome to ZSR on this shiny Monday. It's already close to midnight for me, but hey, who cares? Let's have some great I'm Rumble tournament stuff. We have Fig02 versus DiamondFlash27 today. And oh wow, I'm bad. And now we can just start. I forgot to set the goal in SL, but hey, Arthur and Mopsy, welcome on commentary.
Hey, Triz.
Thank you.
So yeah, tonight is going to be Fig versus Danny. I will call him Danny. It's much easier than Diamond Flash. And both players are on VC, so they're going to be following the exact same route, which makes it quite easy to know who's ahead. And I just saw Fig starting. Danny didn't start yet. Oh, he did.
You seem to be a little behind, so you might want to reload the page quickly.
Okay. Alright, so Danny from Spain and Fig from the United States of America, if I remember correctly. There's supposedly quite a bit of difference in terms of PB for the two runners. So Fig has a low 118 and Danny has a high 121. So technically Fig has the advantage on this one, but Danny also has been grinding quite a bit in the last few months, even though I think Fig PB'd twice yesterday in like 2 runs.
Yep.
So we could say he's de-rusted. Like there's no such thing as rust right now. Oh, the meaning of no IM, no wrong warp. It means they cannot do item manipulation or wrong warps. So what that is going to involve is that they can't really fool with the memory of the game to get like items without grabbing them for real. So they can't get more chews, they can't RBA the medallions, which would be faster. So they're going to have to complete the dungeons if they want the actual medallions from it, and they will need Shadow and Spirit. Also, when you defeat the boss, you have the blue warp, and with this blue warp, you could skip the cutscene or teleport to a different location, which is wrong warping, and this is not allowed. So they'll just walk into it and watch the cutscene. Okay, so both players are about to take control. It's usually around 253 for VC, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And then about 3 minutes when you get control on the balcony.
And for the record, on N64, it's like 257 or 258 when you hit the door. So there's a difference of 4 or 5 seconds just on the intro. So right now, both players are going to be collecting Sword and Shield. So they go straight to the Sword Maze. If that is even the name. Is it called the Sword Maze?
Boulder Maze?
Boulder Maze? I like Boulder Maze. In this Boulder Maze, they do just a side hop left here to grab some more coins because they grab rubies, by the way, because they need to buy the shield. The shield costs 40. Sorry, Mom.
I'll be interested to see if either of them go for West Escape before going for Pokey Escape. I imagine Fig will probably give it a try.
Yeah, I think Danny will give it a try too because they have Sword and Shield, so they can still Pokey Escape if they miss it. So it's on VC, it's not really that risky and doesn't involve like a rerouting of the rupees. So we could guess, and both getting Bridge Clip really nice. Okay, Fig gets the West. Pulled out Sword, so he's gonna try West Escape. Oh, and he gets it. And Danny is just backwalking there. A really nice escape for Fig.
Yeah, definitely.
Seconds ahead of PB. So on VC, West Escape is pretty difficult compared to N64, in which you can just pull a stick while you West. They have to go through the second pond of water and interrupt the sword pull with getting into the water. So that's the way that they actually have an item in hand, which makes the trick, let's say, more doable than it would be.
Becomes a 2-frame trick instead of a 1. Which does also allow you to do it out of pause buffer as well.
Yeah, it's sometimes two. Like I was checking front clip recently, and it's just 1. But then with directional input, it can get to 2. But it's really weird to do setups that gets the same angle. So
yeah, it's hard to keep a consistent angle every time if you're westing because of the speed and the fact that
it's
you can
always
get a
going to
slightly
depend
different
like
angle.
where you turn. And okay, so that's 510 for Fig and 530 for Danny. So it seems like Fig has a little bit less than 20 seconds of advance right now. Oh, that's a weird place to equip Sword and to equip Ocarina, sorry.
What you had to do is shield anyway, I guess. You must just do it now before he forgets.
Oh, that's true, because he can't hover without the shield, so he can't wait until doing the Ocarina dive. And Fig gets the West. So this West is also used to skip the owl. It would be faster than just walking there, but there's also an owl that would like to talk to you. It's faster not to.
Yeah, the owls are a little bit chatty in this game.
Stylish inverted camera. Oh, and doesn't get ISG on the chicken. I wouldn't try again, but what is he gonna do? Okay. Oh, Danny gets it too. If Danny gets the ISG on the Kugo, he could make up a little bit of time here. Ah, doesn't get it.
It's a little too close to the Cuckoo.
Fixed PB is 118.20. It's from yesterday. Alright, so let's go for Ocarina Dive. So both players are in bottom of the well in order to get the choose And the common technique is to get to the basement of bottom of the well without loading it. So in this case, they use Ocarina Dive.
And the water from the little rivers above extend all the way down. So they're able to use that to float all the way up to the Bumchu chest.
And Fig not going for the damage route, so he probably doesn't plan on doing owl skip. And Danny doing the swim. So in this swim, there's a little clippy clip that you want to happen correctly, and it went just fine for Danny. But the most common setup for that is with a diagonal input, and then you have weird variations of speed in the water. So for some reason, sometimes it doesn't work.
Danny opting to go for the Wallmaster to get out instead of the save warp. Which I believe is slightly faster.
It is faster, but you need to get the owl skip in the castle. Oh, I don't know, Valiant. Maybe it's just faster by itself.
Yeah, I heard it was just faster regardless. At least on VC because of the classic controller screen that you get on any reset.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, VC resets really slow. Danny using a setup for what? Oh, okay, yeah. So that he doesn't need to target the little ledge. When the skeletons are here, if you target the little ledge and it actually targets the skeleton, then the bridge will load and you will fail and lose 2 minutes, very sadly. Alright, so Fig damaging to 1 heart. And going for the damage boost next. So it's going to be night for Fig, and at night the guards have a restricted field of view, so what you can do at night is actually just go on the side of that guy. That was a pretty clutchy jump slash, holy. But for example, for Danny, it's going to be day, I think. So he's going to have to go a little different of a route. Is it gonna be day?
I don't think so. The moon just went up.
It looks like he's going for Simo. Okay, so there he's setting up his angle, and Fig going for damage boost. He has to shield, and then on next frame press B. Okay.
Perfect.
And Danny with a very nice seam walk.
Good damage boost from Danny too.
Oh, I didn't know Danny did that unbuffered, but okay, let's go. Fig going for guards. Oh. Sadly, he stopped in the middle. And Danny just entering.
Ooh. You hate to see it. The guard turns his head just before he can get on to the next screen.
He got caught.
And
Okay,
getting
he
caught
got
on that guard there is
far.
about a 25 to 30 second time loss, I think, usually.
Oh, 25? Yeah, I don't know because you have to re-get into the little crawl space. So yeah, it's a
Yeah, and the
big one.
guys don't kick you out right away. It's a couple seconds for them to kick you out.
Don't
You need to
get
be a
caught.
little bit more careful this time.
All right, Danny's done with guards, and Fig is still 8 seconds ahead of PB at Zelda. So I guess it's pretty solid. And Danny is about a minute behind. Two people from Spain in the tourney? Do you mean Chris and Danny? I think Chris would say he is from what is the region? Catalonia or something. They kind of want to be independent from Spain, but yeah, whatsoever. I think it's Chris and Danny. No, I'm just Treza. I'm just watching the little flag on the leaderboard, and that's what it says for Chris. It doesn't say Spanish. I'm not into all of the rest. Okay, so pretty long cutscene for Zelda until she actually gives Link the letter. I think it's about 4 minutes.
I think this one's about 3 and a bit.
Okay, and the entire reason why you would get this letter is because after there is a song that you will need to obtain magic, because that's the way you call the fairy when you're at the fountain. So you need this song.
Yeah, there's no way around that, because you do need magic for light arrows to finish Ganondorf off. And without getting the lullaby here, you won't be able to get magic, and therefore you won't be able to fire light arrows and complete the game.
Yeah, so all of that is due to the restriction of no item manipulation. Otherwise, with a bottle, you can very easily obtain the song without even going there.
Yeah, or wrong warps. You could just wrong warp past Ganondorf.
Oh, that's very true. So we just saw Fig skipping the lullaby cutscene, but still getting the song by dying on the first frame.
And buying the
And we're
healing
going to
shield
see Danny
here,
do it.
which will save and equip when he becomes an adult, because when you're an adult, if you have the Helion shield, it is equipped by default, which will save him and equip.
And Danny going for the skip in a few seconds.
And he gets it.
Nice.
Well executed by both players.
Fig is in Temple of Time, so he's about to skip the Door of Time. Usually you would need to have completed the first 3 dungeons of the game to get past this door. And gets it pretty clean. That's a really good child section. Fig playing solid. Yeah, Fig playing on VC.
All these V cheaters. It's not actually cheating, it's just a joke in the community.
Yeah, Fig used to play in 64 for a while. He still
Based on
plays
his
it from
input
time to time.
display. I think he uses an N64 controller still, though, based on his input display.
Yeah. It's for hand reasons. Danny on dot skip, missing the side hop, gets it.
Not a big time loss, though.
Okay, so both players, without making much mistake here, going into the Master Sword cutscene, which is also about 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 3 seconds, I believe, on VC.
Yeah. So
Now,
this is the most dense part in the run with cutscenes, I think.
Now, one of the hardest parts about this is that after having a 3-minute cutscene and a 4-minute cutscene is keeping your mindset and able to actually perform after taking such a long break and keeping up with a high level of play. Sometimes the break in between can really throw players off.
Yeah, and it also builds up the pressure because you're investing all of that time into the run and you don't want to mess up.
Yeah, you watched over 3 minutes of cutscenes as a child, and or just to start the game off and with Ocarina, and then you watch another 3 minutes and then 4 minutes. So you watched about 10 minutes of cutscenes, and you're only 20 minutes in. You really don't want to have to do all that over again.
Yeah, that's true. But there's not much risk happening until the entrance of Shadow. Basically both skip. Even though the race against Dampé can go really wrong, that's very often not the case.
Yeah, usually you'll only see a few seconds, you know, either way, depending on how Dampé feels like being with his fireballs, but unless someone ends up jumping off the pit in the middle or getting knocked back under a crushing door with a fireball, then you really aren't going to lose more than a few seconds on Dampé.
That's really unlucky, but it can make you restart the race, which is really long. So it was still a minute of difference at Master Sword between both players. And Fig is going to have a little conversation with Sheik, and then he's going to be out.
Yeah, if I remember my VC times correctly, he should be looking at roughly a 22:29 finishing the cutscene. It's been a while since I ran on VC, but I'm pretty sure I still remember how long most of the cutscenes were, mostly because bathroom breaks and things like that.
And then he's going to save and quit. I think he's going to have an equip. He at least wants to equip bomb shoes somewhere. And then get out. Oh, he doesn't equip anything.
Yeah, you don't need to, you can save equipping bomb shoes for when you equip the hook shot, because you don't need them then, so you can just worry about doing all your equips then.
So that means he's not going for the potential Chuhas in Kakariko Village, which actually saves quite a bit of time.
A little bit risky in a race, though, to be wasting bomb shoes when you may need them for Spirit Hover. And,
true, but it's PvP, he could go for it.
That is true. They and the players are save warping out from the Temple of Time because with their current items, there's no way for them to go back through the Door of Time the other direction. So the only way out from them there is to actually save and quit the game, and then it will reload them in the front of the temple.
Fig didn't get the stylish inverted camera as he wanted to backwalk in Kakariko, but he's on his way to the graveyard. And he basically enters the graveyard as Danny is resetting.
Getting the Poe here to knock him off of the grave saves about a half a second to a second, probably closer to a half a second, just to allow him to free himself from the grave before it's actually done moving. And this is where everyone in chat should be guessing Dape times.
So the main idea to think of a Dampe time is for good players like Fig, it should be 47 if nothing happens. And then a fireball is usually 2 seconds and a bonk is about 1 second.
Yeah, it depends on which direction the fireballs knock you, forward or backwards. So let's see, Valiant and Moose both, and Mutant, all with 49s. Shoutouts to all of them for getting it correct.
Is it flames? It's not fireballs. I'm sorry. So Danny avoiding flames. It's going pretty nicely so far. And Fig is setting up for the hookshot jump. So for the hookshot jump, you're locking Link into like a bonk state. And then you're going to have those little moments, as you see, in which Link is actually free to do something. And at some point, you're going to ask to use the hookshot, and it's going to be interrupted by the end of this little window. And this basically throws you in the air.
Yeah, I believe it's somehow the invincibility property of the bonk there, of the roll, is preserved, and you can use that to interrupt it.
And Fig is getting inside of Shadow just a little bit before Danny gets the hookshot.
Now this part here can be pretty big time loss if you do fail any of the tricks coming up here for Fig, particularly the boss key skip. Just because if you do overbuffer here, you will fall down, you will die, and you will go back to the beginning of the temple. He is grabbing a safety hit, so he might be okay, even if he does fail. This room has notoriously hard buffering just because it's a really small room, so it's very, very fast buffering compared to a lot of other rooms. There's not a lot of stuff for the game to load.
Oh, bad things happening to Fig? That's okay, it wasn't much time loss.
And
Danny's getting blocked? Oh,
getting stuck. Let's hope he can save this. Yep.
I hope.
That's a pretty common scene to get stuck at and one of the easier ones to free yourself from, so most runners have a lot of experience getting out from that one pretty quickly. And the ISG up there, the Infinite Sword glitch, is used to prevent them from actually falling off of the scene there, otherwise it's not impossible, but it's not an easy walk.
Yeah, side hopping can make things go wrong. Okay, Fig is on the mega backflip for boat skip, so he's gonna want to clip in the corner and then hover.
And using the ground clip there.
It's gonna make him fall into the room that has the big door, which you should need the boss key to open. And the room is unloaded. Right now, the door is on his left. And he's gonna need a...
He's gonna one pause the actual Z input there too.
Yeah, the last frame that you need here is kind of scary because otherwise, like, you would fall down and you would be voided back to the room where
you take
his chest is.
half a heart from the chew, and then you take another full heart from voiding out there, so you end up losing a full heart and a half, I believe, which can end a lot of normal runs, but in a race environment, you do have to just roll with the punches.
Danny opting for a safety save before setting up load skip. Oh, and ISG going wrong for Fig. Is he gonna get hit? No. Okay. Defeating Bongo just fine. Gets one pose mega back for Danny. Let's go.
Oh yeah, Moose strats from Fig there. I use those strats too. Shoutouts from Moose for some quality strats.
Oh, the movement.
The movement.
I don't know if it's an official name. Danny did go for one frame after third black.
That frame does still work though.
Yeah, it does. Alright, so Danny is at the scary moment that he needs to buffer just one frame. And if he buffers further, he gets back to the room where the chest is. Okay, he gets it.
Oh, well, he would have actually probably died because he only has a heart and a half. He would have been hit by the chew and then fall.
But depending on setups, you actually don't get damage with chew.
Yeah, it's only I think the last roll frame possible that gives you damage if you complete the clip successfully. But if you do fail it and you end up hanging from the ledge, then the bomb chew will hit you normally.
It actually just depends on setups. I was checking those frames, I think, a couple months ago. And there are setups that take damage and entire setups that don't take damage. Okay, so the fight went just fine for Danny.
No trouble with ISG for him. Finishes Bongo is a fight that it's very hard when you first start learning Zelda, because you're more worried about trying to get the tricks than avoiding Bongo sometimes. But for experienced runners, it's probably one of the easiest boss fights.
Yeah, as long as you don't get trolled by ISG at the beginning, the rest is really easy. So let's see when Danny splits so we can know how far behind he is. Okay, he's like a minute 30 behind, and Fig is 30 seconds ahead of PB.
But all Danny needs to do is keep it close, because I know I am wrong warp. Anything can happen, and you can lose a lot of time really quickly, particularly in Spirit Temple and that whole area. But
Danny hasn't done so many mistakes right now. There's no big time loss, so he's kind of keeping it close so far.
Yes, his only major time loss has been getting caught by guards, and there's not too much he could do about that.
But Fig is playing it really safe, keeping all of his bomb chews so far. And entering the Dodongo Cavern. So he's looking for bombs right now. He's gonna have to go on the right and press a switch.
Now this switch, normally you'd have to go all the way through a couple of fights and through another section of Dodongo's Cavern to get here. But because we're adult in this run in Dodongo's Cavern, you can just climb right on up there.
Yeah, which you should not be able to do as a child, and you have to go all the way around. And Danny just entered CAC on his way to DC. It's going to be a kind of a big time of overworld movement right now, and it's going to be unlocked when they actually get the bombs, because they really want to save their bomb chews, but it's not going to be the same with bombs. So it will speed up a little bit the pace. But right now it's mostly movement.
Big with a good YOLO setup there for the jump over towards the chest. It skips doing a whole nother section of the maze there by just doing a precise jump. And it's not that precise though.
But still, you don't want to miss it, because otherwise you have to climb a ladder, and that's a good 15-20 seconds lost.
And there's some spiky traps down there that'll probably hit you at least once and ruin your day a little bit as well.
Almost gets the stylish backflip on Danny's side. 1 frame early. Or maybe late. I think that was late. Fig with a weird setup that ended up not working, and making his way to Magic. Gets the Hess first try. That's going to be a pretty fast segment too. Killing the Sculptula to not rely too much on RNG.
Yeah, when you have the hook shot, it barely loses any time to shoot it, and if the Sculptula decides to chase you a little bit, I'm pretty sure it's faster to just kill them.
I had never seen anyone slash that Sculptula, but why not? And it was pretty quick. I don't think it lost much. Danny about to do the scary jump. Gets it easy.
Yeah, he uses the setup for it. Not much of a setup, it's quite easy, but costs about an extra half a second to a second to do.
So, Danny equipping bombs on his way to Magic.
This is because neither one wants waste to bomb chew just to get high this rock here. The bomb chews are much more valuable for your spirit hover, because each bomb chew you have saves 4 seconds off a bomb hover.
And he got the quick way of doing the jump, which is kind of hard, and he's not going to go for any Hess or Super Slide here. I'm pretty sure side hops would be faster here since it's uphill. But it'd be pretty boring to mash for that much time. Oh, Danny having some troubles with the Sculptula. No, it's going good. It's going fine. Fig is going to skip this guy with a backflip. So he's pulling out the hook shot so that pressing A for the backflip is not going to talk to the guard. Is that Mido? I think it's Mido.
Yeah, that's Mido. Yeah, I believe you have shorter backflips when you've got the hook shot out in your hand, which allows you to get past him.
And now he's going to skip Minuet, so the setup is actually just get pushed from this guy, and you have the perfect distance to pull a bomb and backwalk, and it will blow you up right as you enter the cutscene.
Yeah, sometimes the game just works out really nice like that.
And Fig is 40 seconds ahead of his own PB, which should be kind of stressful for him, but as he is in a race, it's also pretty nice. He probably knows he's ahead whatsoever. You just saw Danny do a backflip here on this boulder. It's because there's a golden Skulltula behind, and while doing this backflip, he actually touched it and got down 1 heart, which is a pretty fast way to get down 1 heart without using any explosive.
Yeah, alternatively, you could damage buffer with an ocarina when you blow up the rocks there, because you already have to use 1 bomb there. But I think it is faster to just use the Skulltula, because you pretty much land right near it anyways, and it doesn't give you any recoil or anything for damaging it, so, or getting damaged by it.
So now we see Fig on his way to Spirit Temple, and he's going to have to cross the Gerudo Bridge now. I guess he's going to go for a Hess and then putting the hover boots.
Does not get the Hess. Does get it round 2.
Okay. And he angle changed midair thanks to VC controls.
And the ESS adapter.
I didn't say it.
Because normally the VC controls would be a reason not to change ankles during that.
Okay, it looks like he's going for the side hop gate skip. There's a new way, well, new, it's like a year old or so, with a low height ground clip that you can actually skip the gate without getting caught. But it uses 2 bombs. And it's sort of complicated. It's not really complicated, but there are ways to fail it.
Yeah, I don't think every runner I've seen go for it in the tournament so far has not completed it and has had to opt to go for the old school strats with the side hop and the jump slash here.
Yeah, it sounds really good for a race because it's not that much slower. It's something 15 or 20 seconds. I don't have to figure, but it saves 2 bombs and it makes your life easier. Danny's opting for a super slide here in Hyrule Field.
A little bit easier than the Hess if you're unsure if you're gonna be able to get it.
And Fig just dropped Wasteland Hess, but he went through the quicksand, so it's actually not so bad.
We'll see how.
The second part is the scariest.
See how Danny chooses to get across the bridge if he's going for a mega side hop or a Hess. Yeah, he's going for a mega side hop. You can also use a super slide as well with hover boots to get across. There's quite a few ways to cross that bridge with explosives.
Okay, and Fig entering Colossus. And it's gonna be time for Spirit Hover. Which is sort of scary. That's the entire reason that runners were saving their chews, is to actually make the next trick easier.
As well as you do need at least 1 bomb chew to unlock your camera.
And Fig just missed the Quay hover.
Which does mean he's going to be using 10 explosives for the hover at minimum and 2 more to get across. Which means I believe this is a frame-perfect Spirit Hover, otherwise he's going to have to find bombs. Or a bomb-perfect Spirit Hover.
Oh, you mean he's gonna reach a Mirror Shield with 0 explosives? Yeah, that sounds like it. Oh, that was a pretty low.
No, it was a low hover. He might end up doing some farming if he doesn't get up quite high enough in the next 2 hovers.
Let's hope it's gonna be fine. He can still use one more bomb and just Hess across.
That's very true. He proved he could do it on the bridge there, and these 2 spots are pretty similar.
And Denny chose to not do the Hess for Wasteland.
Saving all of his explosives. Wasteland Hess is very, very difficult to do correctly, though. You do need a lot of practice in it, just because there's so many places you can void, and Hessing is, you don't have as much control as you normally would with other movement.
So you see Fig entering and exiting the temple here. It's in case he misses that.
And falls down.
It actually worked? Holy shit. Very nice, wow. Very, very nice from Fig.
I'm not sure, Fig's PB must have gotten full Wasteland Hess or something, because he did still lose almost 30 seconds off of his personal best, but 45.53 is no slouch of a Mirror Shield time, that's for sure.
And Danny is entering Colossus when Fig is entering after Mirror Shield. And then he chose to not go for the Super Slide, so he is really keeping his explosives. He wants to have second chances or so. Which is a very good strat for Race.
Fig's going to be praying to the bomb gods right about now. He's got no bombs, so the likelihood of finding bombs is a little bit higher, but sometimes the Amos will still give you none. But they give him 3.
Hover. That was a weird setup. Is he set up good? He's a little bit more left than usual.
I've seen other people use that setup there, and I believe it works just fine.
I'm a little scared now, but okay. I'll trust. Yeah, I know, V. I hope that he's not too much on the side. He could buffer like a diagonal backflip for a bomb hover, but that sounds super hard.
Yeah, I've had this angle before, and a lot of the time you do end up well, actually, it might be because of his position, so if it's just his position and not his angle, he might be able to stick on the scene.
Do a side flip, do a side flip. Oh my god, okay, he has to get inside of Spirit. That's really bad.
And that's going to be his first major time loss there. This is going to cost him a couple of minutes.
Yeah, this is something like we can consider 3 or maybe 4 since he was really at the top of the hover. Oh, Fig just failed the BK skip, which is a low height ground clip. I'm sorry, I completely missed the statue climb. We'll do it with Danny. And enters Naboro. It's a trick you don't really want to fail because you need 2 bombs to hover, and then you need a bomb in front of you. And then what's going to happen is that you cancel the hover, which is going to make Link drop, so he's going to have velocity downward, and the bomb that is in front is going to explode and actually push Link horizontally. So combining those 2 speeds, you actually get like a diagonal downward speed, which is going to clip through the door, probably under it, and hit the load. And so you need 3 bombs, so if you fail that, you actually are using quite a bit.
Spirit Temple is only 2 minutes slower to do the inside route now, I believe. Now that you can, if you do the inside route, you don't have to go get the other key. Now with statue climb.
There's one less key.
Because you're already opening the same door with the key you get from playing Lullaby on the hand.
But that was after, like, going for Spirit Hover.
Yeah, so he's going to lose probably a
bit.
minute and a half at least to the Spirit Hover itself, and then at least 2 minutes to that, so it is a pretty significant loss.
And Fig is still ahead of PB, but not much. 3-4 seconds. And he skipped Naboru perfectly, so what you can do is Naboru's armor is so big that it actually goes through the wall. And you can use the hookshot to hookshot a part of the armor that is outside, and it's going to clip you out. And if you drop a bomb first, then you'll be clipped out by the time the bomb explodes and kills Naboru, and then the void will skip the cutscene.
It is a pretty risky strat though, because if you do fail it and die to Naboru, you don't go back to the top of the temple where the mirror shield was. You actually go to the very start of the temple there, and he would have to find his way back to the Sphinx room and do statue climb all over again.
Yeah, that's true. So Danny has to make the chest appear by playing Zelda Lullaby, which makes it not possible to get ISG from this sign after for the statue climb, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you'll have to either get ISG off of a bomb or do it without ISG.
I didn't know that was possible without doing the backflip off the stuff. So Danny's trying to hookshot the chest here. Oh wow, it works. And it looks like Fig is doing just fine.
Trollrova is giving him a pretty good cycles here. They're not wandering around for a needlessly long time, waiting to shoot.
Oh, I thought he missed that one. Oh, he missed that. So yeah, he has to kill the Beamos. Oh, he dropped 3 bombs on that. That's kind of bad. And so Danny here has to basically walk all around the room. The game supposes that you have the hover boots, as he is doing right now. So usually the triggers are on the edge of the platforms, and you're supposed to be crossing somehow. Oh, it didn't work. He was a little slow. And Fig just finishing the last phase of Twin Rova. He's now good for a couple minutes of cutscenes, so we're going to be watching Danny. Danny is entering the last room before getting the mirror shield, in which there's a Knuckles guarding the door.
The Knuckles are pretty easy. You can pretty much get them to drop their armor before they really have a chance to attack you, and once they've dropped their armor, you can just stun them with crouch stabs. But if you do get killed there, because they will kill you in one shot, then you do go back to the beginning of the temple, and it is a pretty big time loss.
Okay, Danny getting the mirror shield something like 5-6 minutes after Fig.
You will save about, what, 40 seconds maybe? Maybe a little more to not having to go get the key.
Yeah, and he's not fighting the Knuckle here either. So we could consider maybe 3-4. Yeah, Fig is minus 10 in Spirit.
Taking quite a bit of damage from the armor, so which can be a little scary because ideally you're going to lose half a heart to the statue climb, another half a heart for doing the low height ground clip, and another full heart for doing Naboru knuckle skip. So he can't lose any more hearts if he wants to complete all the next tricks.
Yeah, usually you would not go for the Noboru cutscene skip in this case. Oh, he went for no ISG in order to not use too many bombs. And the double slash technique, I don't remember who it was from. Gets the hover, and now has to time a B press. Very good.
In a 4-frame window there, but does do it pretty well.
Yeah, really solid statue climb from Danny.
Previously, we had to go up to
really
the top
good.
of the temple and try to get into the area there with a super slide or by doing an active glitch. But the statue climb is faster if you pause at least once for the super slide, or ties even, I believe, at one pause. And it's a lot easier.
Yeah, the two options are pretty close to each other, even though the riskier one is the fastest, which is it's always nice to see things happen like that.
I believe the statue climb previously was known, but we didn't have a good way to do the boss key skip until the low height ground clips were discovered.
Oh, you would need to choose. It was like 2 side flip hovers and then a jump slash. So Fig getting into Forest Temple, we've seen Fig using a little movement so that he could hookshot the vines really high up. But you have to be fast so that the wall foes can't reach you and start hitting you before you hookshot.
Looks like Danny decided not to go for Noboru Knuckle Skip. It does cost 30 seconds to avoid that trick there, but it is
yeah, he really doesn't want to go back to
there.
the start of the temple, I can understand.
As well as it makes Forest Temple a little bit scarier if you've got half a heart going in there against the Stalfos.
Okay, so Fig just had a good Stalfos spot and is now getting the first key. That was the second key, actually.
He's going to be going for a ledge clip here through the Song of Time block here. Gets it on the second try. Not much time lost to failing that trick, though.
And now he wants to use an explosive to get more speed out of this ledge and put the hover boots, so
It's a good super jump right there.
Which skips quite a bit of the dungeon. Then in this room, while Danny is fighting Twin Rover just fine, it looks. Fig doesn't have strength, Danny either. So what they have to do to get through this sort of block maze that you're supposed to push is actually ground clip up, ground jump in the edges of these blocks. And here's a difficult 2 rolls. Went just fine.
Every time someone fails that, they claim it's been patched.
It's a really rough one because you really get to the ground zero of the room, so you have to do the 2 ground jumps again, or at least 1.
Yeah, which will cost you 2 bombs, which might be, you know, very necessary at the end if you get trolled by rocks during Void Warp or fail a super slide into Ganon.
Yeah, it's something like 30-40 seconds. It's really a bad mistake. And Fig entering the Stalfos fight for the bow.
Now this is probably the scariest Dolphos fight in the game, because if you do die here, you do have to do pretty much everything all over again, and you will lose about 4 minutes.
Oh yeah. And so a slash from the Stalfos does 1 heart of damage, and a jump slash does 2 hearts of damage, but he didn't get hit.
And he
That was
had picked
pretty
up a
nice.
fairy from the first Dolphos room, so he had plenty of health in case he did have any errors.
Oh damn, he caught up a lot of time.
I believe on the splits he has there, I think he just got another gold.
Yeah, on his PB he fell on the first, you know, you climb up the vines and then you have to jump from one branch to another. And I'm pretty sure he fell there, so Fig is 30 seconds ahead of PB.
Yeah, sometimes the game just does not like you on that jump there, and instead of jumping, like, just decides to slip right off the edge.
Which is the reason why some people use the hook shot, and I think it's a very reasonable strat.
Yeah, because, I mean, no one has, like, there's no real setup or anything like that for getting across. It just sometimes happens, and happens to the best of us, so...
Oh, Danny hesitated to take the heart? I'm not sure. He could have taken the heart so that he actually gets full life and it's easier for him for the Stalfos fight, and it also give him more chances of retrying the Void Warp, which is a very, let's say, life expensive trick.
No, but that heart piece is on the far other side of the room from where the warp is, so it does take quite a bit of time to run over there, grab it, and then run back to the, like, opposite side of the room, so... I can understand not going for it as well, especially when you're behind and you need to catch up.
And Danny is now done with Spirit. He didn't split at Spirit, so I can't really know how far behind he is, but he's been playing really solid. Besides just failing on the very start of the setup, he was a little bit too left, and so he couldn't make the Spirit hover. But besides this little mistake, Danny's been playing really solid. And Fig is now watching the Light Arrow cutscene, which it's very long. I don't have the amount of minutes.
It's a touch over 4 minutes, I believe.
It's gotta be 5 at least, nah?
No, I think it's only 4, but it feels like it's longer because you spend a lot of time leaving Forest Temple, playing Minuet, and then saving and going through all the menus again. So before you actually get back to real gameplay, it is quite a bit longer than the 4 minutes and change.
So for the game, this cutscene is basically what you get when you have completed all of the dungeons as adult. But in reality, the game only check if you have completed the Shadow Temple and the Spirit Temple.
They
so
just
it's the case of the 2 runners.
Yeah, they assumed if you had beaten those 2, you must have beaten all the other temples, because why wouldn't you have?
Yeah, you would need some items from both in order to complete some puzzles.
Because normally you can't even get into Shadow Temple without beating, I believe it's Water Temple, and then that's the trigger to learn Nocturne, which is the only way to normally get to Shadow Temple, so...
Danny getting the jump on the tree. I'm a little late on Danny.
Yeah, his stream's been behind by a few seconds the whole time. I think it's just time zone, like the difference in the server locations.
So Danny will go into the first Stalfos fight, which is for a key, and he will go in there with 1.5 hearts. So if he takes a jump slash from Stalfos, he's back to the start of the dungeon. Looks like he's not going for pots. That went really good, and he gets the
He's
fairy.
getting the
Really
pot
nice.
halfway through, yeah.
Almost took a slash here. Very nice. Okay, quick fight.
It's very common to be low in health for this fight here, just because of all the damage you have to take during statue climb and every knuckle skip. So getting the fairy is a fairly common strat here. Just because you're going to be taking even more damage when you go for the super jump with the hover boots. And you really don't want to be down at 1 heart going into the next Alphos fight, because if you die there, that's probably the biggest time loss you can have in this temple.
He goes for the normal way. Yeah, I think Danny goes for the classic way.
He does it with a bit of a twisted camera.
I think it's better so that it really shows Link. Because sometimes the camera has a tendency to actually go much upper, like straight up to Link, and then with the explosion you don't see anything.
Yeah, that's normally you have to hold Z up until right before the bomb explodes to kind of keep the camera locked in place so it doesn't go wandering off on you.
And Danny is in the room with the blocks.
And light arrow cutscene is finally done for Fig, so he's making his way to Ganon's castle now.
Gonna open the rainbow road.
And now that he has the light arrows, that's, I believe, what the game checks for to make the rainbow bridge.
Hard jump for Danny, let's go. Really nice. It's something like 30 seconds for DC hover route, Chris.
Now I've got a bit of a personal interest in this match too, because the winner of this match goes against CMA, and then the loser of that match goes against me next. And I was looking at the brackets and I was like, wait, you're kidding me, right? Like, any one of these guys here in round 2 of losers? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
so it's a pretty stacked tournament. Going for the nut strats on the Stalfos there.
Yeah, and it really pays off. Like, he got really quick
the double stun.
Oh, he lost the power crouch step. He's trying to quick spin. Let's go, Daddy.
I believe, yeah, I think you only need 2 jump slashes, and then the last hit can just be a slash or anything else with the Master Sword, really.
Oh, so they have something like 10 health.
Yeah, I believe they have 10 health.
Well, it was pretty early quick spin for Fig against the Lizalfos.
They can be very, very troll with dodging your fully charged quick spin. They've got a tendency to back out right before you release it.
Yeah, he went for the hovering trial skip, which went really fine. Good first skill in Stalfos.
Second one not being quite as generous, but...
And Danny enters the light arrow cutscene, so we're going to be checking Fig's screen for a bit.
I just realized that Danny's using the file name Flanders. He's losing a bit of time to having a file name quite that long. Every time the game spells out your name, quite a few times it spells it out frame by frame. So having a longer name will cost you an extra frame for each extra character in your name.
But sometimes it's worth it.
For the memes, it's always worth it. Now we'll see if Fig has to impress up the stairs or if he even goes for it. He only has 4 bombs
I don't
left.
think he's gonna go for it.
And he might want to keep that
risky.
bomb just in case he gets rock rolled. Oh, he's going for it.
Let's go.
Has to impress. Yes,
Yes, it really nice.
Yes, we
Let's
can.
go, Fig.
Fig's going big or going home. Maybe Fig's confident that he can get a 1-bomb super slide if he does get rock rolled.
I hope so. We'll see.
I mean,
technically would have time to go down the tower. I don't know if he knows it.
Yeah, but he's on PB pace, so I'm sure he'd much rather just do everything the correct way and get a new PB.
Yeah, and so that's why like it's a comfortable position to know that you could go down the tower and just keep winning the race, so that you can take some risks for a chance of PBing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's kept tabs on his opponent throughout the race. Most
He's
people
2017. Yeah, let's go.
keep an idea of where their opponent is in the run, so they know what strats they should and shouldn't be going for. So this fight here is the only reason you need to get Magic and Lullaby in the run.
Yeah, this is the big restriction of no item manipulation and no wrong words, is that you're going to have to fight Ganondorf and you need light arrows, which needs all of these.
Quite a few requirements, yes.
Oh.
Well,
It went too far into the platform, and so it didn't launch the tennis match against Ganondorf, but it's going to be just fine now.
does get a double round of tennis too with Ganon.
Failing ISG, oh, he gets it. Okay, it's unlocked.
I think on if you get it any later there, Ganon does usually get back up, so... He still ends up saving time, yeah. Even with kind of trolling the beginning of the fight and spooking Ganondorf.
It might have gone wrong in his PB or whatsoever. And the rest was really clean.
It looks like Fig can still get a 117.44 right now, which is quite impressive. Especially in a race environment.
We'll see, we'll see. He only has one chance for Void Warp, or maybe 2, but that would make the next things really, really hard.
Yeah, reduces it to a 2-frame trick, but not 2 consecutive frames. Which is the difficulty there. Although I believe Valiant has a somewhat consistent 1-bomb super slide setup, so maybe Fig knows that.
Yeah, it's 1 frame anyway, so you can hit it. I don't even know which one it is if I had to buffer it, but...
Yeah, I don't either. I wish I did, because there's times I've needed it, but... Both at Spirit Hover and for going into Ganondorf. Because unfortunately you can't...
Okay, Void Warp. Let's go. Oh, there was a rock, so Fig is waiting just a little bit. And now he needs to not get hit by a rock before the bomb explodes, and it happens just fine. Okay, so that was kind of the scary moment. Fig not going for the jump slash here and just...
abusing the fact he's on VC and can go near the unloaded room without crashing.
And then he just gets out of the light arrow cutscene and is going to go and pop the Rainbow Road. Sadly, Danny is really back on this race. We would need a strategy on Fig's side.
I mean, if Fig dies to Ganon, he has no bomb, so he'll be walking down the tower and then fighting Ganon without his sword. Which would add up to quite a bit of time save. I'm not sure if it'd be quite enough, but...
And Fig 26 seconds ahead of his own PB after collapse.
I'm trying to figure out how he lost 6.3 seconds there, because that looked pretty clean to me. He got, you know, initial position set up and didn't get trolled in any way, but...
Still rooting for the VC crash on Ganon.
I've never seen a VC crash at Ganon, but I'm sure it's possible.
Spain going for Spain. Let's go, Danny.
I mean, there's a first time for everything. I've never seen anyone else get, you know, a VC crash for shooting the sun to get fire arrows, but lo and behold, I've lost an MST run to that.
Okay, so Danny is going to be going for a trial skip. I would guess that
Mega
he's
side
going
hop.
for the Mega Side Hop. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It's, I think, like 2 seconds slower or 4 seconds slower, somewhere in that ballpark, but, only because you have to de-equip the hover boots. I don't think it really matters which direction you side hop there, it's more about the direction you hold afterwards.
Oh, okay. Oh, that guy was frozen but was not blue. Damn. I've never seen that happen. It's probably common.
Opting to keep his nuts on his C buttons here just to make this fight a little bit easier, and I don't blame him. Especially with all the nuts he's been able to procure from some of the other stall post fights.
Yeah, he might as well use nuts for the second stall post here.
Oh, the stall posts can block it if they have their shield up, it won't hit them, so unless you get them right when they spawn, you're not going to be able to stun them. So you're almost better off just going for the crouch stabs.
Pretty good stall post fight, though.
Yeah, very clean.
Pick up the super slide first shot? Yeah, he did. I didn't check too much. Okay, Fig starting the Ganon fight.
Now, because he's super slided into the cutscene, he's actually in a busy state when he would be losing his sword. So he doesn't actually lose his sword in the first cycle, which allows him to do full damage to Ganon on this cycle here, doing 4 damage per hit instead of the 1 damage that any other weapon would do. Allowing him to complete this like 3 hits instead of 10 hits.
Really nice double knuckle without backing up. Very nice strat from Danny.
Fig only about 3 hits, 2 hits away from killing Ganon here. He's hungry for that PB.
Yeah, he wants 117.
And he's got that hit there. This is definitely a 117. That was a clean fight. I can't see him losing more than a couple seconds at most off his gold split, so... And based on the timer, he's definitely getting that 117.
So it's gonna be time for Fig. And time.
117.46. GG to Fig.
GG Fig. Danny is now entering the Ganondorf fight. It's 117.45 on Fig's timer. Really nice. GG Fig. He wants it 117. He's got it. So that's what, 3 PB in 3 runs or something like that?
Something like that.
3 PBs in 4 runs or something? Whoa! Ouch!
Shit,
My
sorry.
ear.
Sorry, I knocked my mic over. Sorry.
GG Fig.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Really good
yeah,
run.
In 3 runs?
it was. That I couldn't ask for anything better, honestly.
That's really
Apart
good.
from dropping the Wasteland test, I think pretty much everything else went perfect.
Yeah, that I failed the Bosky skip once. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was it, really. Yeah, very nice for a race.
Yeah, you're playing very consistent.
Yeah, which is very strange for me, honestly, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we hope it keeps going. Next game, you were going up against
He's up against CMA, so...
Mm-hmm.
And then the loser of that is up against me, so...
Yeah, hopefully I can put together a run like this for CMA, because I'll need it.
Yeah, he's a really solid runner.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should race soon so that he's still a little rusty, and then send him my way.
No,
Because his rust showed his last race there, and my race time was like, I PB'd, and my race was actually quicker than his race. So that's all I'm holding on to, is maybe I got CMA, maybe the same things happened to him, and maybe Fig can save my life in the tournament.
I'll try.
So Ganondorf fight went just fine for Danny, and then we're gonna see what happens for his Void Warp. He has a lot of bombs, so a lot of backup.
Yeah, he went with the safer Mega Side Hop strat for the trial skip, so he has at least 2 more bombs from that, and I believe he had a higher bomb count going into the into Ganon's castle.
Yeah, Danny is going up against the loser of CMA, which is Asder, or something similar.
Yeah, Asder, aka Elminster, from he's a runner from about 5 years ago.
Yeah, his race against CMA went. I didn't watch it, but he got like a late 140 or 150. So it looks like Danny should be favorite in the next game.
Yeah, I believe he had a 154. He's still shaking off a lot of rust, coming back from such a long hiatus.
Okay.
So Fig just got the fastest time in the tournament so far. In the meantime, Fig is 51 place in the OoT randomizer tournament.
Dude,
This means
my brain just stopped working for randomizer. I can't do it anymore.
this means that Ocarina of Time randomizer accessible is harder than no iron vanilla.
Dude, it is. It's so much routing and mental game. I can't do it. My brain's too small.
Danny just missed Void Warps. The setup went wrong. So
My
he's setting up
brain's
again.
too small. I'm bad at randomizer. Oh well. That's why I'm so bad at randomizer. Now I get it. Thanks for mentioning it, Fig. Maybe now I can do good.
Back to Danny. It looks like he's going for Void Warp here. He's a little bit lost in the basement.
Oh yeah, and chat says that Bono has a faster time by 2 seconds.
Oh
in
really?
Tournament.
God damn it,
Bono is
Valiant.
incredibly solid.
You can't just make me look bad, Valiant. That's not how we're supposed to do those things. You can't just do that. You know? I own this channel. I need to be professional.
Oh, we got the double kiss coming up here from Danny.
Yeah, he got the super slide. Did he just cancel it? Oh, it still works?
But Danny finds his way out of the basement eventually there. Got a little lost, but better late than never. And now he's watching the final collapse cutscene here.
Yeah, he had to reset up Void Warp a little bit. Like, the initial position setup went wrong, and then he tried the side hop, but it didn't latch grab. It was a little too far on the left. But he still has a lot of bombs.
Yeah, I think he's got at least 2 tries, but possibly 3 for the super slide. And 2-bomb super slide is a pretty big frame window here. Anyone who's getting times like these guys here shouldn't have any trouble with the 2-bomb super slide.
Yeah, it's going to be just fine for Danny, I'm pretty sure. Flanders.
Fig, were you worried when you were down to 1 bomb left for the Hessa cross over to Mirror Shield, or was that kind of
Yes, very.
Because it looked a little sketchy too. You almost went
so
off the ledge.
Yeah, I thought I got a fess. I paused and I unpaused, and I was about to let go of ESS just to go and farm bombs, but I tested it, and it somehow worked. I was like, okay, I'll take it. It's funny.
Yeah, and then it looked really much like, I think you were in ESS, right? And it went super left, so it looked like your angle was completely wrong to actually go across.
I switched left to fix it.
Yeah, so it was probably like a
VC
late
after.
CNR. Okay, so then he made the super slide. I think it was first try. I didn't watch too closely. So he's gonna start the fight with his sword. He goes for the crouch stab, so you can go for the crouch stab like this, but Ganon's tail actually goes much higher once you hit it once. On the next cycle, then it would be wandering around much higher. So for the crouch stab, it can get a little difficult. So that's the reason why we see some players like Fig turn their camera around and make it easy to actually target the tail and jump slash into it, which reaches much higher.
Jump slash is slightly faster too, I believe.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it's slightly faster if you do it for all the hits. It works out to a couple seconds.
Oh, we should ask some glitchless guy. They can tell that.
Yeah, it should be a little bit faster because you don't have to wait for it to like fall down.
Drop back down.
Yeah, exactly.
He wags his tail a lot too, left and right. And the jump slash just targets on and hits it.
And it's GG for Danny.
126. Oh, not a 126.10. Probably more like 126.14 after he misses the slash and gets ISG just for style points.
GG.
GG, Danny.
GG. In the end, it's 126.21 official SOL time. And that concludes this race.
It wasn't as close as I hoped to be, but the gameplay and the PB there, like, I mean, it was really impressive to watch.
Yeah, it started really close, and Danny didn't make big mistakes, so it could have gone wrong on Fig's side at any moment. So in this regard, it was still kind of close.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, missing Spirit Hover at the very end of the trick was a really big time loss, and then Fig didn't make any mistake.
Yeah, meanwhile, Danny got caught by guards, unfortunately.
Rip.
Oh, true that, I forgot.
And Diamond is not joining us for an interview, so this will have to do with Fig bragging about his perfect race.
What? Thank you for having me.
But yeah,
Yeah,
well
thank
done.
you, Fig. GG.
Yeah, well done, dude.
I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to that CMA with his Fig show.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Alright, at this point I want to give a quick shout out to Arthur and to Mopsy for doing the commentary.
Thank you, Trez.
Shoutouts to ZSR. Whoever is handling ZSR is a pretty good guy, I want to say. Not just kidding.
He's pretty good.
Glad you all were here. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back on... Oh, I gotta figure that out. We'll be back actually on Wednesday with another OTR accessible tournament qualifier. Maybe Fig will participate and make his placement a little better. I don't know, maybe. But nah, just kidding. Big qualifier coming up again on Wednesday, and the next OT No I Am Wrong tournament match so far will be on Thursday, 5 p.m. 4 p.m. UTC. Ike versus Smoker, which is one of the first lower bracket matches. And I hope you'll be back for that one. Until then, thanks everyone for watching, and see you next stream.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for having us.